Time for a crazy alert. People are worried about the contamination of the blood supply. Oh no, are we going to turn into lizard people? With nearly 60%, this is from Kaiser Health News. With nearly 60% of the eligible U.S. population fully vaccinated, most of the nation's blood supply is now coming from people who've been vaccinated, inoculated, which has led some patients who are skeptical of the shots to demand transfusions only from the unvaccinated. Honest to God. Julie Katz-Karp, who is with the Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philadelphia, said, "We are definitely aware of patients who have refused blood products from vaccinated donors." Emily Osment, American Red Cross spokesperson, says that her organization, the Red Cross, has fielded questions from clients worried that vaccinated blood is going to be tainted. Right. The latest crazy conspiracy theory. It is, as I said, it is crazy. And, but here we are. I mean, it's America and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Okay, back to picking up your phone calls. Marilyn in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Hey, Marilyn, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. I wanted to talk a little bit more about this issue of Biden being sort of blindsided here with what happened. Mm-hmm. You mentioned how it was hard to believe that Blinken and the Secretary of Defense couldn't have known anything about this. And I'm just wondering, is it possible that intelligence gatherers, either in the Pentagon, the Defense Intelligence Agency, CIA, NSA, that somebody along the way suppressed information because they wanted to stay in there and they wanted a military incident?
Or because they were Trump appointees and they wanted to sabotage Biden?
Exactly. I thought of that also. Yeah. One or the other.
I think those are both possibilities, Marilyn, and in small ways they may play a part of this, but it's been 7 months that Joe Biden has been president, and it was in March when this group, No More Left Behind, I forget the exact words, I saw the founder of it on MSNBC several times yesterday, and Sean has reached out to them. I'm hoping that we can get them on to talk about this. But it was in March.
There was a guy on MSNBC yesterday, and he was saying, bring in the Marines, bring in the whole 82nd Airborne.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounded to me like he was giving a military point of view here, so I'm just wondering if that played into this.
Well, yeah, he certainly was. He was a military guy. And sometimes when the only tool you have is a hammer, you think that every problem is a nail. I think that this is something that could probably be negotiated with the Taliban, but I may be completely wrong. What I do know is that they need to be using every tool at their disposal, whether it's diplomatic or whether it's military or something in between. There are also other parties in the region that the Taliban has to interact with, the largest being Pakistan, which is where the Taliban was invented and where it is headquartered and where it's a major force in the Pakistani government. And we give a lot of money to Pakistan every year. We subsidize them. We support them. Their military uses our weaponry. And Pakistan has extraordinary influence and power over the Taliban, and we need to be using every tool that we have to get those folks out. And if we don't, if the Biden administration doesn't, it is going to hurt them. Whether it was the result of Trump holdovers sabotaging them, or incompetent people, or people who simply didn't want the war to end because, hey, it was a gravy train, it was the road to promotions for people in the military, it was money for the defense contractors. All of these things, in my mind, kind of throw into the pot. But the bottom line, and Biden cut through this very well yesterday. He said, I'm not going to pass this along to a fifth U.S. president. God bless him. I mean, it needed to be said. But the fact that they are, I remember a month ago on MSNBC having Rachel Maddow have the same guy on her show, and he was saying, we need to get these people out now. Now, this was before, we had started the pullout. And he was saying, we need to get them out. I've got their names. We know who they are. We know where they are. And the Biden administration was apparently not listening. And I think that was a tragedy. And and he has an opportunity to fix this. If he doesn't make this right, if the Biden administration doesn't make this right, it's going to be Jerry Ford all over again. Jerry Ford was a one-term president, largely because of what happened in Saigon. And this was,
and also because of Nixon, the pardon. A lot of people didn't like the pardon.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
That's true.
You're right. He has to clean it up no matter what happened, no matter who was responsible. He has to clean it up.
Yeah, and I think
he will.
Yeah, and I sure hope so. Marilyn, thank you for the call. And
Thank
I think
you.
and I think that what Nicholas was saying about his friends who are hysterical, that this is this is Jerry Ford all over again. Jerry Ford didn't have the means or the will or the popular support for helping the people in Saigon who had helped us. And it never even became part of the conversation. This is really an entirely different time with an entirely different dynamic. There was no social media back then, and an entirely different, frankly, populace.